Marcus Rebello here for Cage Side Press with Brad Tavares. Brad, you're making your return to the octagon. Your last fight was back in February against Israel Adesanya last February.
That was last
Yeah, or last July, sorry, excuse me. Last July against Israel Adesanya. February is when Adesanya fought Anderson Silva. Got the two mixed up there. But you fought Israel Adesanya last, and a lot of people have given their take on the Robert Whittaker fight with Israel Adesanya. How did you see that whole fight playing out between the two?
From the get-go, before they were even scheduled to fight, I kept going back and forth. Like, I can see Rob winning. I can see Izzy winning. I can see Rob winning. I can see Izzy winning. I did a little segment for, I forget who it was for. It was for a betting site. And my final pick was actually Israel. And then he went out there and did his thing. I honestly thought the fight would go 5 rounds. I thought it was going to be a 5-round war, But when I watched the fight, I feel like Robert was, you need to pressure Izzy, you see that. You kind of just give him his space. You give him his space, he does his thing. So you need to pressure him. But I felt like Whittaker was just leaping in a little bit too much, and obviously Israel took advantage of that and put him away.
With your return and with your experience against Adesanya and had a close fight with him as well, did you feel like you learned a lot about yourself and a lot about him if you guys were to meet in the future?
Oh, definitely. We went 5 rounds. So, yeah, that was the first time I fought in a 5-round fight. Learned a lot about myself there. And I got a lot of time in there with him. So, definitely looking forward to fighting him again in the future sometime. I want to run it back with him, and hopefully it's for that belt.
You're fighting another young up-and-comer. It's not sort of similar trajectory as Adesanya, but still sort of on that young and up-and-coming stage. The UFC has thrown you another opponent like that, Edmen Shahbazyan. What experience would you take fighting Adesanya and dealing with that and fighting Edmen Shahbazyan on Saturday night?
At the end of the day, they're 2 completely different fighters. They might be younger and on the rise and in similar positions, but fight-wise, skill-wise, completely different. I think they both possess different threats, where from Israel you can expect mostly striking, That's not to say that he hasn't adapted wrestling or jiu-jitsu or any of that. Whereas Edmen, you watch his fights, he's hard-nosed, he comes forward, and then he goes for takedowns and submissions, and he ends up getting those a lot of times. So just 2 different styles of fight, so you can't really compare the 2, but definitely Israel's the better fighter.
You've been a main event on a fight night, obviously, last July, and now here at Madison Square Garden and dealing with that. How great does it feel to finally be back after the arm issues? Much talked about that you were away for a long time, whether to have surgery, to not have surgery, and that whole experience. How great does it feel to finally be back and the UFC putting you on an MSG card, a big card here in New York?
Yeah, like I said before in previous interviews, I didn't look forward to, I didn't choose to be out the time that I was out. It was just unforeseen circumstances, injury, and then I feel like some doctor mishap. So that kept me out for way longer than I wanted to be. So the feeling I have now this week, I feel like I'm right back at home. I really just feel relaxed, no added pressure or anything like that. I'm happy to be here, honestly. It's one of those things, you don't know what you have till it's gone. So sitting out for over a year made me really miss this, and I'm just glad to be a part of this. And then to be at Madison Square Garden, crazy.
And after going through a whole fight camp, after coming back from the arm surgery, how does the arm feel? How does the body feel responding to that fight camp?
My body overall just feels great. The arm itself, when I first got cleared to go back to training, it took a little while for the rehab and recovery process. But now everything is good to go. Green lights all around, and I'm feeling great.
And finally, what's next for you? I mean, you fought the best of the best. You fought Adesanya. You're a tough winner. What's next for you in 2020, and what do you want to see out of your career the rest of the way?
My goal has always been to wear that belt around my waist, So I'm not going to stop till I get it. I'm feeling great, and maybe this time off has let my body rest again. So you got to look for the goods and the bads. So I'm always optimistic. But next year, I just want to keep my, finish off right where I left off. Before I fought Adesanya, I was on a 4-fight win streak, People were putting me up there, and my name was getting tossed around in title talks. So I just want to continue where I left off. Yeah, unfortunately, I lost to Adesanya, but look where he is now. He's a champ now. So I want to make my way back, get some wins, get some good victories, and fight Adesanya again if he's the one with the belt.
Perfect. Brad, best of luck Saturday, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.